of the chapters that we have covered till now? Aisha, Iram?
No.
No? Okay. So let's start with morphology of flowering plants. So basically in this chapter, what do we mean by, let's go to the terminology again. Okay, whenever we have to study, understand something in biology, we go to the word. So what does the word morphology means? It is made up of two words, morph and logy. What do we mean by morphology? First of all, the word flowering plants means angiosperms. You know about, we have not studied, we have not done chapter 2, but in biological classification, you know that plants are of different types. There are different divisions in plants. Angiosperms, any idea what are angiosperms? Have you heard of this word or not? Say something.
Yes.
Where have you heard this word? What other words have you heard? What are the other types of plants? No, Aisha is thinking, why did I say yes? I said yes, and then another question came up. Anyways, angiosperms are simply means those plants that produce flowers. Flowering plants are called angiosperms. Now, what do you mean by morphology? So you can write down in your terminology section. The word morph means appearance. What does it mean? Characteristics or appearance. Okay. Appearance. It's really the outer appearance. And the word logy means study. So it is the study of characteristics or visible, visible characteristics of a plant. And which plant? Angiosperms. Okay. So write down. The study of external structures and visible characters. The study of external structures and visible characters in angiosperms. This is what we are going to do in this chapter, morphology of flowering plants. Now tell me, what are the visible characters in a flowering plant? What are the characters that you can see? So
Root.
Plant, yes. First thing you can see is it starts from root. Plants have roots.
Stem.
Okay. Okay.
Leaf.
It has a stem which we can see and distinguish, and
Leaf.
leaf.
Flower.
Okay. Sorry.
Flower.
Flower. Okay.
Petals.
They're a part of flowers. Now you're going to tell me each and every part of flower. We said flower, so it is the whole flower. You give a flower, right? Have you given a petal to someone? Today I'm giving you petal, tomorrow I'll give you sepal. It depends on how good our friendship develops. One day I'll give you the ovary of the flower, which will complete the flower. No, right? When I say flower, I mean the flower, the whole flower. Yes. But before flower, what is there? There's something called bud or inflorescence, right? You know what are inflorescence? Flowering plants mostly produce flowers. But have you seen a mango tree? Aisha and Neelam? Mango tree.
No.
Never seen a mango tree in your life? Don't you think you are missing something very major in life if you have not seen a mango tree ever? You have had mangoes, I believe. If you say no to that, you have eaten mangoes, right? Please
Yes.
say yes. Hiram?
Yes.
Good. Thank God. Okay. But a mango tree, it's also an angiosperm. It's a flowering plant. But have you ever seen a mango flower? If it is a flowering plant, it must be producing flowers, right? And every season mango comes, which means every season it must be producing flowers. But they do not produce flowers like other flowering plants. They produce a bunch, a group of very tiny flowers packed together, known as inflorescence. Okay, so if you just look at a mango tree before the fruiting season, in the flowering season, you will see structures like this, very small flowers compactly packed together, and they will give an appearance like this. And they will not be very bright in color. They will be like not green, but they will be present like this. You understand? So this whole thing, which contains thousands, hundreds of flowers, so small flowers are present here. So this whole thing is called a compound flowering, or inflorescence. Is it clear? Do you have internet right now, both of you?
Yes.
Can you search mango flowering on Google and go to Google Images to understand what I'm saying right now? Yeah, I can also do it for you. But I have to go to other sharing screen. Are you doing it, Aisha and Neelam?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Did you see something?
Yes.
Can you recognize this thing? Have you ever seen this in your life on a mango tree?
No.
No, sir.
I forgot. You have never seen a mango tree. It's also an achievement in life. Never see a mango tree. Okay. Anyways, so that's inflorescence. We'll also study about that. Apart from that, what else are the parts that you have seen? Have you not seen a fruit? Flowering plants also have fruits as external structures, right? And inside the fruit, seeds. Yes. Root, stem, leaf, flower, inflorescence, fruit, seeds. These are the major things that make up the morphology of any flowering plant. Anything that we are missing? Aisha and Iram? Now, please don't be
No.
quiet. No, right? Don't think that anyways we have not seen a mango plant, so we better not talk. No, you can. It's fine. You can go and see a mango plant online. So these are the things that we're going to study in this chapter. In the end, we will also study how to recognize certain descriptions or certain families of flowering plants. Some important families of flowering plants which are useful to humans. We will also study about them. Okay, now Let's start with anyone. Pick one. Let's start with the root only. Okay. So what is a root? What do you know about root? Quick. Shoot. No, I mean, shoot your answers. What do you know about roots already? What is a root, Iram? Iram, what is a root? Now, if you will say that you have never seen a root also in your life, then I'll suggest you both to go a nursery or anywhere around where there are plants. You must be having plants around your house, right? Or in your house as well. Aisha, Iram?
No.
No?
Yes.
No plants are there around Iram's house. How is that possible? Not even ornamental plants. You know, there are even plants in deserts. Where do you live, Iram? If you live anywhere except for Antarctica and Moon, you must be having plants around you. Some or the other. Do you have grasses around you? Iram? Grasses are monocot plants. But what is a root? What does a root do? Root system, shoot system. These are basics. So if you don't know, you say we don't know, and I'll start from the scratch. If you know, I'm just gazing. Where are you currently on the plane so that I can take you up from there? You're not speaking or you don't want to speak? Aisha? Am I audible at all? Is it
Yes.
my network?
Yes.
Oh, I'm audible. Okay, very good. So roots are the parts of the plant that stays in the ground, right? In the soil, basically. The function of the root, the primary function, is to absorb water and nutrients from the ground for the plant, correct? And another function is to anchor the plant in the soil so that the plant can stay erect and will not be taken away so easily by winds or other factors. So to keep the plant anchored at one place and to get water and nutrition for the plant, roots and root system is there, correct? Yes?
Yes.
So write down roots, roots are the parts of the plant which are underground which means inside the soil, and functions to absorb water and nutrients. For the plant. Now, what else do you know about the root? When a seed develops into a plant, what forms root and what forms shoot, you know?
Yes.
Have you, yes, tell me. Hiram?
Radical forms the root.
Okay.
Plumule forms the entire shoot system.
Yes. So let's say this is a seed, okay? in that seed, you must have seen that there are two things that come out. One is like this, the radicle, and one that goes up, right? So the one that's going up is called plumule, and it gives rise to shoot system. It goes outside, it grows out of the soil. And this is the seed. And this is which grows inside the soil is called radicle, and it gives rise to shoot system. Okay, correct. Now what else do you know about roots? So there is a primary root and secondary root. You know about that? Have you heard of these terms? Primary root, secondary root, tap root, fibrous root, adventitious roots. All these terms are clear to you or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So let's talk about primary and secondary root first. So what is a primary and what is a secondary root? Primary root and secondary. Yes. So this radicle, when radicle develop, it forms the primary root first. It is a straight root that goes in the soil. So if I draw it, this is the plant inside the soil. This plant forms this one long root which goes straight, which is called primary root. Is it clear? And then from this primary root, some secondary root structures like this arise. Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm talking about? Okay. Sometimes from these secondary roots, so this one will be the primary root. Okay. These one will be the secondary root because they are arising or they are growing from the primary roots. And sometimes these secondary roots also have these hair-like structures, right? Yes or no? Like very thin roots. What will they be called? Primary, secondary, so they will be called?
Tertiary.
Yes. Tertiary root. Is it clear? Clear, everyone? Both of you?
Yes.
So write down. Radical leads to the formation of primary root. Okay, radical forms primary root, which grows straight inside the soil. Inside the soil. Second point, primary roots bears or forms lateral roots known as secondary roots. So from the primary roots come the secondary roots. And from secondary roots arise the tertiary roots and so on. Is it clear? about the primary and secondary and tertiary root? So whenever this question comes, you can just draw this diagram and explain. Make sense, everyone? Ashan,
Yes.
Now what is taproot, fibrous roots, and adventitious roots? Let's come to second part of the morphology. Taproot and fibrous root. What is this? Know anything about it?
Taproot has one main root, with some secondary roots, and fibrous roots are like cluster of or a group of
Cluster of
roots.
cluster of which roots? Fibrous roots, do they have primary root as well?
No,
No.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, one no, one yes. So now it is up to my vote. Okay. Why? How yes and okay? How do you think, Iram, that fibrous
I'll
roots
say.
have a primary?
So there is a primary root that first degenerates, and then it forms that clusters.
So if it degenerates, what forms the clusters? Something that forms the clusters cannot die, no? If it dies, then what forms the clusters? It is replaced, okay? So the primary root, you're right. You can also say degenerate, but what I'm trying to tell you is in taproot, throughout the life, there is one main root. It's just like so here we have drawn, this is a taproot system. In a taproot, you can actually tell that which root is the main root and which are the secondary and tertiary roots. In a fibrous root, you cannot distinguish between which root is secondary and tertiary because the primary root is very short-lived. It is formed, then it starts forming other roots, and then the primary roots die, and the other roots in a fibrous manner take its position. Okay. So if I draw a taproot here, so taproot will just be like, so this is the plant in the soil. So there will be a long single root. And from there, you will be having multiple roots, all going in all directions. But you can always tell that which is the taproot, right? Sorry, which is the primary root. So the one marked here in blue is the primary root. Do you understand? Whereas in a fibrous root, so at the junction, a primary root forms, but then degenerates, and multiple roots just are present in fibrous bundle. You understand? Now you cannot differentiate here that which is the primary root. Make sense? Yes or no? Ashaniram? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So write down in taproots, when the primary root is present throughout, when the primary root is present throughout, along with its branches, along with its branches in a plant's root system. In a plant's root system, then it is known as taproot. And it is known as taproot. And write down, taproot is present in dicotyledonous plants, commonly known as dicot plants. And okay, you know what is a dicot plant? Dicotyledon. Dicots, people. It's related to the seed. So how to figure out which plant is dicot? You take their seed, and if you can open the seed into two parts from the center, it's a dicot plant. We can also get to know of the dicot plant by looking at the stem structures, about which we will read in this chapter anyways. We will also read about the seed structure of monocots and dicots. Okay. So, but tap roots are present in dicots. Fibrous roots are present with monocots. Now let's write down monocots. Sorry, let's write down fibrous roots. Write down. In fibrous root system, the primary root is short-lived. The primary root is short-lived and is replaced by a large number of thin roots, arising from the base of the plant. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes.
Write down. Fibrous roots are present in monocotyledonous plants. Commonly known as monocots. Now, to give some examples, you can write here mustard, okay, and gram, and pulses. And the examples for monocots is grass, wheat, rice, etc.
So,
Yes,
so what is gram?
Gram is chana. You know chana?
Yeah.
Okay, that's gram. Gram. Pea. Peas are also dicots. Okay, because all these seeds you can open from the center, right? They split into two. But can you split a wheat or a rice seed into two? Like you can break it into two, but does it open into two parts? Have you seen a rice seed carefully? No, please don't say you have not seen a rice. You have had rice, right? Cooked rice.
Yes.
You have also had cooked chana. Can you see that chana gets split into two parts?
Yes.
But rice stays an elongated rice, right? It cannot be split into two. Do you understand? Yes or no? People write names on rice, very tiny, tiny alphabets. Okay, that world you both are not. Alien world I'm talking about. You must be having rice in your house. Okay, now please today go and look at rice. Wheats are very difficult to find in houses these days because wheat gets grinded into flour, the atta. But see, look at rice and look at chana or pea. You will understand the difference. Okay. So these are fibrous roots. Clear both? No. So primary, secondary, tertiary, tap, and fibrous. Both are clear? All are clear? Yes, no, any doubts? Now let's come to adventitious roots. What do we mean by adventitious roots? What are adventitious roots? Adventitious means? Just give me 1 second. Means yes. Adventitious means what? If roots are present anywhere in a plant where it should not have been present normally, but it is present to give the plant some advantage, that's called adventitious roots. And these roots are not formed from radicle, but from other parts. Okay. Just like you know about false fruit and true fruit, we I think discussed this, right? Yes or no? No. You know there are fruits called. Have we discussed this, Iram?
No.
You know what are false fruits and true fruits? We will study about them when we'll come to fruits. But just to give you a heartbreak and feel a little bad, apple is a false fruit. Mostly all your favorite fruits must be false fruits. They're not true fruits. Apple, pomegranate, and what else do you like? Pear. All are false fruits. Okay. Jackfruit, pineapple, they all are false fruits. Okay. And in fact, what we call as vegetables are true fruits. Okay. So our vegetables are fruits. And most of our strawberry is a false fruit. How do you feel now? Watermelon is a true fruit. So Iram is like, I am safe. I like watermelon. Get away with your strawberries and other things. Nice. Okay. Papaya, watermelon, they are true fruits. Anyways, so let's talk about adventitious roots here. So write down first point in this. Roots that arise from parts of the plant other than the radicle are called adventitious roots. Okay, and to give you an example, you all must have seen, at least in pictures, a banyan tree, right? You've seen a banyan tree?
Yes.
Yes. Make a big banyan tree here. And have you also seen structures like this coming down from a banyan tree? Yes or no? Sometimes they go
Yes.
all the way to the ground. So these are adventitious roots. They are not branches, they are roots. Okay. So example is adventitious roots of banyan tree. Okay. Is it clear? Shall I move forward?
Yes.
Okay. Now, functions. Quick. Whatever is the root type, whatever primary, secondary, all these roots, then we'll go to the microanatomy, like the regions. But what are the functions of all roots? First function, as I've already told you, absorption of water. You know, roots can go way long in the soil. So this banyan tree that you are seeing, if it is this much above the ground, you know, the roots of a banyan tree can go, they cannot come out of the ground, but sometimes they even are visible. But they can go at long distances from where the tree is. You know about this? Banyan trees can have very, very long ranging roots. And why it has long ranging roots? In the search of food, they also go very deep in the ground. Make sense to all of you? That's why banyan is so well anchored. So they are reaching, they are searching for water and or moisture in the soil. So first is absorption of water. What are the other functions? Absorption of minerals. Third is providing anchorage to plant. Okay. And what are the other structures? What are the other functions? Can you think of any other function apart from these? How many of you? Yes, Kiram.
Uh, Plant growth.
Plant growth. Yes, you're right. Do you mean to say that roots produce some hormones called plant growth regulators?
Exactly.
Even if you did not mean this, now you'll say, yes, I was saying this only. But I know that you are saying this only. Don't worry. Synthesis of plant growth regulators. Yes. So roots synthesize some plant growth regulator hormones. What else? Any other thing? Any other function? Or we have covered all? Aisha, anything that you would like to contribute in functions of root?
Support.
Support is there, no? See, providing anchorage to plant. Look here, ma'am. This is for support only. By providing anchorage, you are providing support. I don't think you are talking about any other kind of support, like financial support. You're talking about the physical support, so that's providing anchorage. Anything else? How many of you like carrots and radish in your salads? Don't like carrot, radish, beetroot, sweet potato. What are all these things? They are modified roots. So what are they doing? What is their function? No one is going to speak. Okay.
Storage
Of
food.
yes, yes. So storing reserve food material. Okay, as starch or other tissues. So these are the major functions of root. Clear? Yes or no? Please write it down and let me know when you're done. And after that, open your NCRT. And let me pull out that figure. NCRT. Yes. Done writing?
Yes, sir.
Aisha?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Now let's come to regions. Let's study about some specific tissues. Regions of the root. So even root is not just same all through. When we're talking about morphology, we have different regions in a root as well. So come to open your NCRTs and see there will be this diagram in your NCRT. Can you see this diagram? Is it visible clearly? Hiram and Aisha?
Yes.
Okay. If you don't have NCRT, look here. You can draw this. It's very simple. So this is a root tip that I have taken. Okay, it can be very long. So you understand that this is the region of maturation, and it contains secondary roots, right? The root hairs. So this is the primary root which is going in, right? You see, and these root hairs are basically fine. It can also be secondary root, where these are the fine root hairs. So if this is a primary root, then this becomes secondary. If this is the secondary one, then this becomes tertiary. Okay, understood? Now in this region of maturation, the root hairs develop, very fine things, root hairs develop. Let's go this way up. Okay, so at the very top is a root cap. Can you see this root cap here? Now this root cap, write down, it covers the root. It covers the root at the tip, also known as the apex. At the very tip of the root, there is a cap-like thing. It actually covers and also provides protection to the root. Just above the root cap, this region is the region of meristematic activity. You know what is meristematic tissue? Yes, no? So also write down, let's also write down about the root cap first. Write down. Root cap plays protective roles protects the soft, or you can say tender apex. Because when root grows in the soil, this is the site, this is the first site that encounters everything on the way, right? So this root cap protects the soft and the tender apex tissue as it makes its way through soil. Is it clear, both of you? Root cap is clear.
Yes.
And then this is the region of meristematic activity. Region of meristematic activity is the activity with dividing capability. So it is the region of active and rapid cell division. Okay. And in this region, the cells are smaller, like they are very small. They are smaller than other region cells. They are smaller. They have thin cell wall. And they have dense cytoplasm. Okay. Is it clear, Hiram and Asha? So this region of meristematic activity is the region from where the root actually divides, the root cells divide and grow in number. Understood?
Yes.
Now, once cells divide and grow in number, what is the next thing they would like to do? The number has increased. Now, after every cell division, what does the cell do? It grows in size. Remember, cell cycle forgot everything. It's like tata bye bye to whatever we have read. Don't do that. After cell division, cell has to elongate. Yes or no?
Yes.
Divide. So just above the region of meristematic activity is the region of elongation. Okay. Write down the cells in this region. Cells in this region undergo elongation, which means increase in size. Elongation. And this region is responsible for growth of the root. So how big or long the root will be, that is decided by the region of elongation, and it is a big region. And this also does not have root hairs. It's a big region above the region of meristematic activity. Is it clear? Written? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now in plants, what happens? Only the meristematic tissues can divide and form new cells. Over time, when they grow in size and become big, they become mature and they lose their ability to divide further. Okay. So when the, write down, when the cells from the region of elongation, write down, when the cells from the region of elongation differentiate and mature, then they form the region of maturation. Then they form the region of maturation. Okay. Now in this region of maturation, write down, these cells do not divide. Okay. And the epidermal cells of this region, the epidermal cells form root hairs. This part, okay. What is the function of root hairs? What do you think all these root hairs are doing? Aisha, can you think of any function that these root hair are providing to the root? Have you studied about finger-like projections called villi in your small intestine, Aisha?
Yes, sir.
What do they do?
Surface area increase.
Yes. So these root hairs are doing exactly the same things. Okay. So these root hairs increase the surface area and increase the surface area of absorption. Absorption of water and minerals. From the soil. Okay, so root hairs enhance the absorption mechanism to make the root better. So now do you understand? This root cap will keep shifting, will keep moving forward because the meristematic region will keep dividing and the elongation region will keep becoming bigger. So the root will keep moving forward. And over the time, the elongation region will become matured, the meristematic region will become elongation, and this tip will move further. Make sense to you? It's a dynamic process. People make sense.
Yes.
Okay. Very well. So let me know when you're done writing everything which is on the screen.
Done.
Done, Aisha?
Yeah.
Very well. So we have studied about structure of root now. And I think the last thing in the root that we have to discuss is modifications. This we have to do in every part. Modifications of roots. So in nature, all the morphological features or structures of plants modify to help the plant adapt better in some or the other ways. So talking about modification of roots. So roots, write down. In some plants, roots change their shape and structure. Roots change their shape and structure to become modified roots, to become modified roots, and these roots are capable of performing additional functions than absorption. Okay, and conduction of absorption of water and minerals. This is the primary function. Apart from this function, when roots modify to do other things, then they are called
So,
yeah. Yes, here.
aquatic plants won't have root, right?
Why? Because they are not in the soil.
Yeah.
But there are two types of aquatic plants. One which are at the base of a river or a lake. Basically, they are in the soil only, but the whole plant is in the water. Others are which are floating on the surface of the water. So they also have roots, but it's like that. So this is the water stream, and there is a small plant. So you've seen lotus, right?
Yes.
It's like a flower on water. So you will think that it has no roots. But if you go to the back side of this leaf, lotus is on a leaf, right?
Yes.
You will see that there are small roots which are inside the water. Okay. Now these roots, because only roots can absorb water and minerals. So if plants do not have roots, where they will do the absorption from? So absorption is the primary function. Sometimes roots get modified to do other functions, but it's not like that they are not doing their primary function in the plant. There will always be a primary root. There is no plant without roots. You understand?
Yes.
So in an aquatic plant, sometimes the roots can be long and they are just flowing with the water flow like this. When the water flows, it flows through the roots, and roots absorb minerals from these water and of course water. Is it clear?
Yes. But where do these roots arise from?
From the stem. This is the stem.
Okay.
In the lotus, there is a stem which is either fully submerged or partially submerged. So stem can be fully submerged or partially submerged in the water. And from the stem, roots are arising. And above is the shoot. Sometimes the whole plant, like in some cases, the whole plant is inside the water. So this is the water. The whole plant, it has leaves which are actually flowing with the flow of water like this. Then it has a stem. And then it is grounded in the soil of base. And then it has root inside that. So this is also possible. You understand? You see what I'm drawing here?
Yes.
Sometimes the plant is not submerged in the water, it's up and dry, but the roots will just be floating like this. Okay? Because if there is no roots, how will nutrients reach the leaf for photosynthesis in plants? Do you understand the logic, Hiram and Aisha? Good question. But you understand now, right?
Yeah.
So in modifications, write down. Roots modify. Now these additional functions I'm talking about. Roots modify to support to support. They have supportive roles, or to store food. This is not their normal function, no? Or for respiration. So respiration should happen in the leaves, right? Food storage should happen in the fruit or in the stem normally. Supporting roles is done by the stem, but sometimes roots play these functions. So supportive roles is in banyan. I was telling you about those roots which come down, right? From the ground. Sorry, from the branches towards the ground. Have you seen a banyan tree? So now whenever I'll ask, have you seen this tree? I'll be very perplexed. Well, I'm curious. Kiram, have you seen a banyan tree ever in pictures?
Yeah, in pictures I've seen.
Right, Aisha? You have also seen in pictures a mango tree, right?
No, mango tree I've never seen.
I see. It never occurred to you to go and figure out where does my delicious mangoes come from? You're like, okay, let's focus on the mangoes. Who cares where it comes from? Anyways, so supportive roles are played by roots in banyan tree. Storage is done in case of sweet potato. Potato is a stem, but sweet potato is a root. Okay. Not just sweet potato, in radish, turnip, carrot. Sweet potato, turnip, carrot, etc. And respiration. Have you seen marshy plants? Marshy plants, plants that grow in swamps, they are called mangroves.
Yes.
Oh, have you seen a mangrove? Iram is like, I have not seen normal plants, but the exotic ones, I don't miss. I've seen all the exotic ones. So mangroves are plants which are actually submerged in water, like loose uh, ground, water with soil. So it's very difficult to walk through that ground, okay? Because it's always flooded and half submerged. So what happens is these roots actually try to come out. So there'll be a plant and it's all marshy here. So the roots come out from the ground and are exposed like this. Have you seen these kind of roots? They are called mangroves. So it's very difficult to walk through a mangrove because there'll be lots of roots making a network. And these roots help in respiration for the plant. Is it clear? So In Banyan, so there are some names you have to remember, write down. The roots hanging from the banyan tree are called prop roots. The roots hanging from the banyan tree are called prop roots. Have you seen a sugar cane or a maize?
Yeah.
So a sugar cane looks something like this, right? It has compartments, right? Like this. This is how sugarcane plant is, right? And it has leaves like this. Am I correct? This is the sugarcane, right?
Yes.
Sometimes you will see that at these nodes, there are structures like this that arise. Right? Sugarcane. Have you seen this?
Yes.
So these are called stilt roots. In a sugarcane or a maize, these roots are called stilt, S-T-I-L-T. Just remember the names, like prop roots, they are called stilt roots. You can write down the stems of maize and sugarcane. The stems of maize and sugarcane have supporting roots. Coming out of the lower nodes, the nodes which are lower. On the higher nodes, these roots are not that prevalent. So they're present in the lower nodes and are called stilt roots. Okay. Prop roots are in banyan. They hang from the top, goes to the ground. They help in supporting. Stilt roots are present in sugarcane or maize. Their function is to, again, supportive function. Then in some plants, such as these marshy mangrove plants, known as, one plant is called Rhizophora. Rhizophora plant. This is just the name. In these roots, which help in respiration, are called pneumatophores. Pneumatophores. Let me tell you one pneumatophore roots. Let me tell you one thing in biology. The word pneumato or pneuma is associated with breathing or lungs. But since plants don't have lungs, so there it will be respiration related. Make sense or no? Iram and Asha, make sense?
So a question.
Yes, please.
In these area where these mangroves are present, will aquatic animals be there?
Yes, it's possible that mostly marshy areas, many aquatic animals do not live because they cannot survive and thrive because oxygen is a problem. And also it's muddy. The water is thick and muddy. So it's difficult, but some kind of fish can live around, big fishes that can swim, or some organisms that can go in the water and come out, can live around mangroves. But the aquatic life will be limited. It's not like there will be no aquatic life. There will be, but it will be limited. Okay.
Yeah.
Mostly in marshy regions, methane producing because oxygen is a scarcity in the water. Oxygen is not dissolved properly. There's low oxygen, so that's why many aquatic animals cannot flourish. Very few can live in marshy areas. Okay, so pneumatophores helps in getting oxygen for the plant and helps in the process of respiration. Write down, pneumatophores are special roots. Pneumatophores are special roots that grow in plants living in swampy, marshy areas. In plants that grow in swampy, marshy areas. Swampy, marshy areas. These roots come out of the ground like this. So these are the pneumatophores. These roots come out of the ground and helps to get oxygen from the atmosphere and helps to get oxygen from the atmosphere. Okay. Is that clear? Am I audible and visible? Aisha and Iram. Sorry, I think I lost the network connection in between. Am I audible and visible now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I was just telling you, we were here, right? You can see the screen, everyone? I don't know what happened. Okay. So this was about root. So let's start stem and leaves in the next class. So please note down this one thing for some better discussion. Your homework is, before you come to the class day after tomorrow, you have to read about stem. Read along the same lines, okay? Stem as a structure, like its structure, its modifications. So mostly you have to focus on structure and modification, because in stem there is not much things to study. And then also study leaf. But in leaf there are many things. And you will be talking about the structure of leaf. There will be types of leaves. So you have to focus on types and also their modifications. See, modifications are very important. Okay. So this we will finish in the next class. Okay. Iram and Asha, do you have any doubts that you want to ask? Iram, Asha, any doubts?